was almost Mickey Mouse. Well, sort of. What's up, everybody? What's going on? Spanky here. I had to say it like that because my kids think that's hilarious. I started saying that at the beginning of my very first few videos, the Spanky's here, and that's all I hear. My kids running around the house. Spanky here, Spanky here. So I quit doing it for a while and thought I'd add it in today. Anyway, today's Friday, and I took the day off of work because I'm going to spend time with you guys. Actually, I want to tell you another story. A story of when I flew to Florida to try out to be a Walt Disney World character. So, let's start. Back in 1990, or I'll tell you about it, back in the spring of 91, I had taken a break from school, and my dream was to move to Florida to work at Walt Disney World and become an Imagineer. So, my parents, for my birthday, bought me a plane ticket. When I flew down to Fort Myers, Florida, I had a friend that lived in Port Charlotte, and he rode with me. He was going to try out to be a character too. So we drove up to, we had to go to the University of Central Florida, this place right here. And we got there, and there must have been at least 1,000 people, maybe more. There was probably more than 1,000. And went into this huge auditorium type place, and we were split into groups. And there was a big long table with judges. And basically what we were going to have to do is perform in front of these judges, and then either you made the cut and moved on to the next part of the process, or you didn't make the cut and you didn't become a Disney character. That was the end of your journey, I guess. So anyway, I got placed into a group. I think it was a group of about 10 to 20 people. I can't remember exactly. And first, before we performed, we were taught a basic dance routine. I don't dance. I've never danced. I've never danced up to that point other than maybe a slow dance at a school dance, but no fast dancing unless I was just being an idiot and acting like a goofball. So I'm very, and I was also, and I still am to a point, pretty shy. So this was really throwing myself out there. So anyway, they put me in this group, and they're teaching us the step ball chain, I believe it was called. I'm people out there that dance. That's probably the very basic dance step that you learn when you're in the dance. So I'm trying to learn the step ball chain thing, and we probably do it, or we probably practice it for, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, and then they line us up 2 by 2, and we got to skip and do the step ball chain. At the same time, you're supposed to be doing the big Disney smile and using your arms. And so anyway, my heart was pounding. I was so nervous. I felt like everybody was staring at me. And I felt like my head's already big, you know? But I felt like my head was just gigantic and everybody was like staring at me. So I was pretty nervous, and when it was my turn to get up there, I don't even know what I looked like doing it. I started skipping, and I probably screwed that step ball chain up so bad I almost tripped over my own 2 feet. And then I got to the end of the line where the judges are at, and they pointed that way. This way was, you wanted to go this way. I ended up going that way, the reject pal. So I go over there, I'm defeated, thinking, all right, well, that was a waste of time. I flew all the way to Florida just to be embarrassed and dejected. However, after we got dejected, everybody in the dejected pal got a second chance. So again, we went through this 10 minute little practice step ball chain routine. And again, I had to embarrass myself a second time. So again, I didn't get any better. I probably wasn't smiling. I probably had the face of horror as I'm skipping along, trying not to fall on my own 2 feet, thinking everybody's pointing at me and laughing at like, look at that big dork. And again, wrong way, this way, dejected. I was dejected a second time, and my time came to an end. Now my buddy that was with me, he was a dancer. He was really into that kind of stuff. He was nominated the class clown of our high school. He was used to being out there and singing and dancing and acting a fool. So he did the steps great. The only thing is, for some reason, probably because he knew that I had been rejected, he wasn't into it. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't doing the Disney whatever they wanted you to do, and he got rejected too. He had the steps down, but he didn't have the enthusiasm. So he got rejected as well. So we both left there. They told us to drive over to the casting, and we could apply for a job at Disney World there. So we drove over to the casting building. The casting building is over there by downtown or Disney Springs. And we went in there. There's tons of people in there too. That place, from what I understand, every single day there's hundreds of people in there applying for jobs. So I filled out all those applications. They ask you where would you like to work in the park, food, beverage, or you can work merchandise. I signed up to work one of the attractions, and I waited for a good hour, 2 hours before they called my name. They call you into an office. I had an interview. The interview went great. And I was hired right there on the spot to work one of the attractions. I was pretty pumped up until she said, all I need from you is a copy of your driver's license. Not a problem. I had it. And a copy of your Social Security card. That was a problem. I had a Social Security number and I had a card at one time, but I couldn't find it. I don't know what I did with my Social Security card. And the lady said, oh, no big deal. All you got to do is go home and get it, and that's all we need. We need a copy. And I'm like, well, I can't just go home. I live 1,000 miles to the north. I flew down here. And then she said, well, you could just go probably downtown Orlando to the Federal Building and apply for a new Social Security card and then get a copy of it and bring it in here, and that'll take care of it. So off we went. We drove over. First off, I never drove downtown Orlando. So it took a while to find the place. Remember, there was no GPS back then. There was no MapQuest, no Google Maps. I don't even know how we found the Federal Building, to tell you the truth. But we found it. We went inside, and there was a huge line. A line sort of like this right here. Maybe not that bad, but it was still a pretty long line. It was about 30, 35 minutes long. And I had to fill out this application for my lost Social Security card. I get up to the window, hand it to the lady, and the lady's like, "Oh, great, everything's here, no problem. You should have your card in about 2 weeks." And I was like, 2 weeks? I was like, you can't just print off a copy of a card? She's like, "Oh no, our computer system's down, so it'll be about 2 weeks." Well, my Disney dreams went down the drain right there. I knew that my time, or at that point, was not going to happen. I was not going to be moving down to Disney World. I was not going to be moving and becoming an Imagineer. Instead, reality set in, and it was time to go back. But another good thing that came out of it, if I would have stayed there, okay, if I would have got the job, and I would have moved down there, I would never have met my wife. Because right at this time period is when we first met and we started dating. So I'm sure that if I would have moved down there, that would have fell apart. She would have moved on, I would have moved on, and if we wouldn't have got married, then I wouldn't have my 2 great kids that I have. So everything always works out for a reason. So that's pretty much my story of trying to become a Walt Disney World character. And I know in the beginning I said that I was almost Mickey. Even if I would have done great on the dancing, I never would have been Mickey. I'm way too tall. I could have been like Goofy, maybe. That kind of fits. But I would have loved to have been Captain Hook. You all know that my favorite character is Captain Hook. But someday, I will work at Disney World. In fact, I'll throw this in there. When me and my wife got married, we went on a honeymoon at Disney World, and we were there for like 2 weeks. And there was a day we just wanted some downtime. My wife wanted to lay out by the pool. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to go try to get a job. So at the time, I was working as a correctionals officer in Virginia. So I just started that job. I was full time. We had just gotten married, like I said, and of course we didn't have kids at the time. So I decided I'm going to go apply for a job, maybe try to get on security. So I went over to the casting place again, went through that process. Anybody can go in there, just to let you guys know. All you have to do, you don't have an appointment, you just walk in there and fill out an application. There's always an opening. There's always job openings. So anyway, I went in there, had the interview, and I got hired again to work security. The only problem was they couldn't guarantee me more than 20 hours a week. And I was working full-time with full benefits at the time. And we had just gotten married. And most likely, if I would have went down there and took the job, I would have got more than 20 hours a week. But there was no guarantee. So I had to turn it down. And I had to go back to the worst job I ever had in my life, and that working in that correctional facility. But only a few months after that, I ended up getting a job as a police officer. A lot of you don't know that, but I was a police officer for about 10 years in Virginia. But anyway, everything always works out for a reason. And if your dreams are to become a Imagineer or a Mickey Mouse or a Goofy, go for it. You know, whether now or someday, that dream can always be fulfilled. Because I plan someday when I retire, I will work at Disney World. You guys can come down to Disney and you will see me in one of the gift shops, maybe driving a monorail, something. I will be doing something at Disney World. So anyway, that's my story. And I just wanted to say a shout out to the Roush vlog. I know you're a big Steelers fan. So I wanted to say, go Steelers. And also, I just wanted to say, hey, the Mouse Diva down there in North Carolina, and say, go Pirates. Anyway, you guys have a good weekend, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Comment down below. And, hey, I'll see you guys next time on the next video. Have a good weekend.